Are you an indie podcast or content creator looking to reach a wider audience? Look no further. Introducing Podcastic, the ultimate podcast network designed exclusively for indie creators like you. At Podcastic, we believe in the power of unique voices and fresh perspectives. We're here to amplify your passion and creativity, connecting you with a growing community of engaged listeners who crave original content. Podcastic is more than just a platform. It's a support system built for indie podcasters, offering a range of resources to help you succeed. From tailored promotional campaigns to professional production assistance, we're here to help you shine. Our intuitive platform makes it easy for you to be seen and heard. We do all the heavy lifting for you. You just show up and create. Plus, with our advanced analytics, you'll gain valuable insights into your audience's preferences, allowing you to refine your content and grow your fan base. Ignite your passion, expand your reach, and thrive with podcasting. Visit our website at www.podcasticlife.com to get started. Podcastic, the home for indie podcasts and content creators.
I'm singing. Well, welcome to Put Your Family First podcast. I am your host, Nat Morris.
We on the scene.
Yeah, right. So yeah, welcome to Put Your Family First. I am a host. Dr. Hetheru is in the building.
Hello.
Dr. Dave is in the building.
Hello.
Today is National Respect Day. It's been 10 years. And to give you an idea of why this day is so important, I'm going to turn it over to Heather. Go, Heather.
Well, I'm happy to share why this day is so important.
Yeah.
The first thing and most obvious thing is that we are in a time in a season where we have to recognize the value of respect. Respect you, respect me, respect we. It is so important that we apply the principles of respect to how we are, our ways of being, but also how we treat others. And if we buy into and redefine respect, where it really is more encompassing and is solution-based, that we would see a totally different environment that we're seeing now. And so, but the origin of Respect Day goes back to, I believe it was about 2015. And it actually started in our Emmy program, our mentoring program, where we had charged our boys in our program to take the idea of Respect Day to their respective schools, to implement either community service, to implement some type of change in their schools. And of all the boys that participated, none of the schools were receptive to Respect Day. And so they came back very disappointed. And so we decided that we would take Respect Day into the schools as the adults, because they didn't have the respect for the boys that were trying to make a difference and a change in their own school. So we took it back in a way that was that we invited schools to participate, targeted particular schools. And one of the schools that bought into Respect Day was Detroit School of Arts, so DSA. And so that's one path of Respect Day. During this opportunity, it was, I believe, it was two of our community leaders. One, Commissioner Alicia Bell, who was the first to initiate Respect Day in Wayne County and by resolution. Actually called it the Calvin T. Mann Day. And Calvin asked if we would if we could use Emmy National Respect Day to make it a more broad commitment. And so she honored that request, made the broad commitment to Emmy National Respect Day. And it was really to honor Calvin and his years of service and his commitment to defining and applying respect throughout the community. And so that happened with Commissioner Alicia Bell. And then a year later, it was also received and by resolution named in the state of Michigan with Senator Burt Johnson. And he then added Emmy National Respect Day as a day of observance in the state of Michigan, also acknowledging Dr. Calvin T. Mann, as the originator and the one who was leading this idea and example of respect in the state of Michigan. And so that was the origin of Emmy National Respect Day.
Well, thank you for that review. Revisionist history, as we would say. Brother Dave?
Yeah, I think that is so important that we attempt to get the meaning, the deeper meaning of Respect Day in the hearts of the people. You hear often that young people say, you got to respect me, you got to know who I am. But if you don't know who you are, then how can someone display this back to you? So teaching and developing and defining the word respect that universally can be accepted is so essential. And I think this general ideal of, respect me loses sight because you're just going on an ideal that your way is the only way. But when we talk about respect, we're talking about a universal connection because we know that isolation kills the community build. And if we don't respect one another, how can we develop and grow with one another?
So, great point. I don't want to really take it where it's in my spirit to go. I really want to go there. And it's in my spirit to really go there because culturally, right? Because we've practiced these things around disrespect of the woman, disrespect of the man, disrespect of the children, disrespect of the grandparents, right? Who you talking to, right? Because we poorly parented in some areas, respect was the one thing that was left out. Mm-hmm. But it's also indicative of what the system knew. So I'm not going to really go there because the day has been a great day. It has been powerful. I got to give it up to my man Justin Ward, who came on and he gave it up to the women.
Well, Calvin, you have to frame that conversation. They don't know who Justin is or.
Well, today we had Respect Day.
There we go.
At DSA, and the performances, right? The performances were amazing.
And that's Detroit School of Arts.
Yeah.
Our partner of 10 years.
Our partner of 10 years. I thought you did the framing. I thought you set this whole frame up.
Well, not
with the
for
back stand on the back. Put the picture
not for
in.
the performances and all the amazing things that have been happening today. So
I'll say this. And then I'll let you, run with it. I'll say this.
It's so amazing to be loved.
Right. I'll say this, that today being the 10th Respect Day, that I'm looking forward to next year. And the reason why I'm looking forward to next year, because I already see it's going to be in more than 30 schools. I already see that, the sponsors and the people, because everything is already happening. for encourage me, I'm young, even in his downtrodden, as they would say, downtrodden position, where you have this little bit. But like I said, the thing that I learned was that don't mean nothing to what is coming, right? Miles had $5 yesterday, and then today he had 5,000. See, we don't know.
Receive that. Receive that.
I know Miles.
Receive that, Miles.
Miles was
That's
like,
for you.
he was like,
That's right.
Kel, don't put that out there. It was a synopsis, right? It was.
I say be a part of make that happen. The day not over. The day is not over. Wait. Calvin falling out in the chair.
Because I know exactly where he's coming from, right? So, right, because we chop it up, so I know where he's coming from. So I had to, I was just giving an example, right? And because the blessings you don't know, only the blessings know that they're coming your way. You just have to be prepared for them, and being man, you're silly. So be ready. You know what I mean? That's it. But yeah, Respect Day was awesome.
So before we get there, I would like to acknowledge a few of our past sponsors too.
No, sure. Go ahead in the past.
So the Zach Hart Agency sponsored us for I like the first couple of years, if I'm not mistaken.
Zach is the guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they supported Emmy for a number of years, and I want to acknowledge them and that they have supported our Emmy National Respect Day. Epic Health has been one of our sponsors for our Emmy National Respect Day. I cannot remember the water company.
No, Epic Health was a sponsor for the Man to Man Youth Summit. They did not sponsor.
Oh, okay. It wasn't for Respect Day?
No.
Oh, okay. It was a water company out of Ohio. They were just starting out. We had it at Mumford. I can't recall the name of the water company.
Yeah, he brought a lot of water.
Alrighty then.
I ain't mad at it.
He on the road.
I told you he was coping. He started off singing.
He bought a lot of water, right?
And so
From Flint?
No.
Dave is in there now. Dave is in there now.
No, so no, one of my guys brought the guy here, like he wanted to do some collaboration and everything, right? And so we no, you're Lloyd, right? He out of Ohio, right? So he come and we set it up. He goes through this whole process, right, of bringing some water, and as he was brought the water or whatever, my man was like, "Hey man, you gon' right?" And so, needless to say, that was the only time we saw the brother, right? It's when he brought a lot of water. So we can't say.
Keep everybody hydrated.
That's right.
Yeah, right. So that's what he brought. Right, he brought the water to Respect It. That was at one of the ones at Mumford.
Yes, at Mumford. Let me see.
That brother talked a lot too. They gave that brother the microphone, and he ran with it. Go ahead.
No, those are the ones that are at the top of my thoughts. I know I'm missing some.
Yeah, as far as sponsoring Respect Day, the main person was Zach. Zach made sure that he was, consistently doing so, and then from that, we just were in collaboration and doing certain things, and then today, BASF, one of the top chemical companies in the world. sponsored Respect Day, and it's something that's going to grow.
Yes, absolutely. And so, it's been a lot of our young people have been impacted by Respect Day over the years. When we look at some of the young people in the spaces that we have served, because we've done some really, really important Respect Day activities. We've had students from Howard University come and do skits and messaging and digital messaging, which are still available on our METV website. On YouTube. We had, that was their, what is it? What do you call it? Spring break. It was their spring break.
Yeah, but they had to work, so they take spring break and go help.
Right. It was a service. It was a service day for them, but it was about 40 of them though.
Yeah.
From Howard University. So they came and spent a couple of days with us creating content.
That's when we was on 9 Mile with the midget that was always mad at Miles.
What are you doing? I don't know.
Well, we was on 9 Mile. That's when we had them over there. We had them on 9 Mile.
I know where they were.
Right, but you ain't never see the midget that was harassing Miles.
Right. So I'm gonna go ahead and just bypass that.
Okay.
But they put together a lot of great content around respect.
Hey, Miles, you. I tell you what, though. Miles. You know Miles. Yeah. You know,
he hasn't eaten today, so that might be what's happening here.
Okay.
Miles owed me $90,000.
It's Sugarloaf.
That's what I was thinking. Sugarloaf.
Yeah. So
Oh, you gonna use this office? How much Miles charge you for this office? All right, baby, go ahead. I'm gonna let it. Man, won't you go sit your short? Yeah, take off them high heels, dog. All right, I'm good.
Yeah, I got a mint for you, bro.
Right.
You need one. Hook you up, bro.
Yeah. I didn't get much rest.
We'll get you some orange juice.
Let me see what other one stands out to me. In addition to performances, the student performances, we've had spoken word, poetry. We've had what is it? Is that the Flash Squad or the Mob
It was
Squad? What is it?
Flash mob.
Flash Mob. Okay. Yeah, so that was really incredible. That was really a lot of fun to watch the students. They're all in the cafeteria. They're all over the place, and all of a sudden you see everybody, break out into a dance routine. And
That was Angela.
Yeah, that was. And one of our biggest supporters throughout Respect Day has been Angela Prince. Yeah, and so many thanks to you, Angela, out there listening. We really appreciate you. She has not stopped supporting Emmy. She is also a part of our board as well now. But thank you for all of your faith in us and what we are doing and being a part of it, being an active part of it. Let's see another face of Emmy Respect Day through the years.
It don't get no better than Beverly Green.
Of course. Beverly Green, she's a student, I think manager, director at DSA. She has been just a gem. She's a beautiful person with a beautiful spirit and a love for our young people. She loves those young people, and she's constantly guiding them and showing them a different way, showing them a new way, and helping them to express their talents.
She gave me a perfect She said, I was perfect today. I said, I got a perfect outfit? You said I was perfect?
Calvin spoke at the event. That is what he's referring to.
She said, I give them out every now and then.
But she like to leave room for improvement. Huh?
Right.
Right. She's like, I give them out every now and then. Don't get too comfortable. I say, I can't stay. But Beverly Green.
Yes.
So
Another gym.
A flat out gym. So Beverly Green and her friend Andrea, myself, and we first put on the first man-to-man youth summit. She worked so hard. She worked so hard that, you know, she got kind of woozy to make it happen, right? So I got all these men at Rosedale. We got over 200 boys, and we, you know, they're in there. But her and Andrea went and got all these pizzas and everything, right? So, and she just went, oh, I'm just feeling good. I was like, if you eat something, no, I'm just worried about y'all. No, you can't. You got to eat something, because she had been busting her tail, you know, for that morning till we even got in the same space. And we had Brother Johnson from over there at Paul Robeson, that was the principal, and then we had all the men that in the community, right? So we had the Ray Winans, we had the Otis Bellinger, we had the dude from the Pistons, we had Shaka Segura, we had who else was in that was there? We had Jay Fags, right? We had there was a few other guys, right? We locked in and took a pledge that day, but that was the Man-to-Man Youth Summit, the first one. And it was in Rosedale. It was at Rosedale. That's when I was having 200 boys. This is back in 2013, right there, when we did the first one. And so I called Beverly. I said, hey, I got this idea. Where you at? I need your help. She said, I'm over here at DC. I said, DSA? She was like, yeah, Detroit School of Arts. I said, let's do a Respect Day. She was like, what you mean by Respect Day? I was like, I'll come over and explain it. So I went in the classroom. While standing in the classroom, I asked all the kids to take out a phone. They all took out a phone. Okay, what does the word respect mean? See, because we always talking about respect. What's the true definition of respect, right? So they took out their phones and they discovered something new. The real definition of respect. Mm-hmm. So then we put on skits and everything the first year. We had colorism plays. We, you know, the male choir, everything. Powerful. And from that point on, it's been myself and Beverly. We've done automobiles, respect for automobiles, and all kinds of things.
There have been quite a few themes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so.
And the pledge.
Right? And the pledge. So we know that this is important to the community right now, to the world. Right? We've put in. I ain't gonna say it. Anyway, right now to the world, right? And today was just another great day. And again, shout out to BASF. Judge Sean popped in. Judge Sean came over. I'm sure he left with a lot of ammunition. You know? And the kids, they got fed. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so they walked away with the feds looking for you.
I'd like to share the Respect Day pledge.
I'm gonna put your money.
Oh man!
Our Respect Day pledge is: today I pledge to put respect above hate. I will show respect in my words, beliefs, and actions towards others. I will love. I will show peace. I will build family. I will build community. I will be healthy. I will support my local economy, and I will continue my education. I pledge to rebuild my community through respect, one person at a time, starting with me. Respect me, respect you, respect we. And we've had different Respect Day logos over the years. One of my favorites was, was that Emmy? It was the world, but around it was it Respect in different languages? Was that it, or was
That's the one that the Howard University kids did.
Mm-hmm. That was one that we did. We have one that's a hand with all different shapes and sizes and colors of hands to show respect to diversity. We've had a number of themes over the years. Let's see, we had responsible driving, no distracted driving was one of the pledges that we've asked people to pledge. Water, being hydrated was one that we asked people to pledge to.
Straight out of Flint.
Right. We had respect for our elders as a theme. This year was around advocacy and voice and communication. We had respect family as one of our themes one year. We had can you think of any more?
Oh, I think you named them all, baby.
It's 10 years, so we had more than that. Yeah, but those are just ones I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, so let's look at some of the dynamic performances
Throughout the years?
Yeah, let's.
Ooh.
Which one can you call up that? So Dave, like today.
Well, sorry. Go ahead.
Today for me, I really felt the closing. Not only because I picked the song, so sure I could be selfish, right? I'll take that. I picked the song, right? Not only because of that, I'll take that, but I like the message that they conveyed in the routine. Mm-hmm. So that's one of my favorite performances. Another one of my favorite performances is
We Got to Help.
We Got to Help. Them girls dance, they tell them.
Yeah, it was a guy in there too.
Yeah, well, the dance team. Yeah,
Right.
I wasn't being biased or anything.
No, I'm just saying it was one male in that dance routine and that dance group for We Got to Help.
Yeah,
and it is a powerful. The song itself is powerful, but to see it put to movement, it made it even that much more.
Yeah, it was pretty powerful. It's in there. It should be in there.
Mm-hmm. We Got to Help. He's talking about We Got to Help the song.
The song in the video. Yeah.
Let me see. One of I would say the all male choir, that was powerful. Those young men are so talented. The drum lines, of course, those are always,
The colorism played year one.
Yeah.
They did a colorism play year one. It was powerful.
So what they did was selected from issues and concerns that they were facing in their environment. And so one of them, was the light skin, dark skin, the colorism. That's how they defined it at that time.
Yeah, you be faced with that a lot, don't you, brother? Dave. Yeah, growing up, that whole thing.
They also had bias against people's sexual orientation. They talked about that year. That was powerful, about people's differences and how they were accepted. And
then the girl over at King High, when she did her
about suicide.
No.
Suicidal ideation.
Yeah, but she talked about bullying on social media.
Yes.
Yeah, she talked about bullying on social media. It was powerful, and it's she really shut it down, like the whole everybody. She had everybody totally captured. Yeah, it was one of the better. Most definitely, that poem, was one of the better performances.
And then some of the schools that had participated. What is the brother's name that made sure that all the different schools were able to participate?
Yeah, my man.
I'm sorry, I can't call his name.
Well, he's a doctor now.
Because he made sure that a couple different schools got pulled in. Schools.
5. He helped us get 5 of the DPS schools.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And man, you sure hate that over 50 brain. Really, how you will forget somebody? You know what I mean?
It's just further back in the file.
Yeah,
Right.
I got to go back there.
Yeah, but but yes, just very, very grateful to him for making sure that it was that all the schools that were represented throughout the years, that he was very instrumental in making sure that happened, and that he was not exclusive. He made sure. I know one of the schools that he worked with was one of the schools that serviced special needs students, and they were a part of it, so they had opportunity to participate. Again, we encourage the pledge in most of the spaces that we are a part of.
No, that was what's her name? DeJuan's wife. She the one who had the autistic school that year.
Oh, okay. I mean, we've had a couple of them, so it wasn't just one.
Yeah, I can't.
I know. I can't.
You're bad with names, Calvin.
Third person.
Yeah.
Let's see. What other highlights from Respect Day through the years? The media coverage has been really awesome. Supported throughout the years, making sure that we could highlight those student performers and people who were open to the Respect Day. The goal of National Respect Day is to take it national, and so as we continue to move forward, as we look at expanding our work with Emmy around the country, Respect Day is a part of that expansion, because we know it's not just that it's one day. It's one day to highlight it. It's 365 to live. So we want to live respect every day, just increasing the awareness.
Brother Jordan Pratt.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad
Dr. Jordan. Yes. It was, and I did, hit him up for this one as well. But he was shocked at what happened when DPS called themselves taken.
Oh, well, that's
the Respect Day.
Right.
After we changed the environment, they came up with some whole program that's in the school. Which, hey, that's what they were entitled to. But we got the outcomes, right? And so that's a completely different thing. The other one that stood out was the first young lady that did their poem in the first year. That I locked her poem. It's on our on the Emmy TV site, and hers was pretty powerful. But I like the young lady. Both the young ladies who read poems today was spot on.
Yeah, they were powerful too. Yes.
Yeah, they were spot on. I love how the second one, because I got to record hers.
About the shopping, is that?
Yeah, and removing and disappearing the culture, respecting the culture. But she was talking about how you were self-respect, but how they were erasing what we brought to the table by looking at certain aisles. I'm in aisle 7. Look, it was pretty powerful.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It's been we have some talented young people. That's the other part of this. We have talented people, period.
Yeah.
And you get to see that play out in our young people, but also the different styles that they mirror.
that, the artists that you can tell have influenced them, those types of moments are also very important to see, that others know that they are actually influencing music and dance and spoken word and poetry and all the different ways that people not just perform but communicate. I think that's huge.
Dave, I got a question for you. Watching today's military, how much respect do you think that they've lost?
I don't think the military has lost respect. I think the leadership who governs the military is losing respect. The military system basically has leaders and followers, and most of the time you've seen the followers go with the leader. And when you see poor leadership, then it brings about an image that they make it a big picture, that it's the military, but it's really the leadership. And I think they are losing the leaders are losing their respect in such a way that it's going worldwide. And that's unfortunate because you have to be very conscientious of the people you put up front. It's like a representation to a store or to an office. If the first person you encounter displays inappropriate or lack of skill sets, that represents your organization. And our leaders today are now gotten so compromised in the way they deliver and perform, it sets up for the image that the military is going by the wayside.
Thank you for saying that. I asked for a specific reason, really to get how you feel about it, but more importantly, that people needed to hear it from someone because of the way that that this military, leadership is acting. Mm-hmm. Leadership is everything, right? And I brought that home today, that it was important. The very first ingredient that the kids needed to have was respect.
Mm-hmm. Let me share, since you brought that out. So we talk about military. So this is my brother overseas now in the war zone. He says, every night, I'm nervous that I won't wake up the next morning. Never ever felt like this. He's been at 7 wars. I'm not afraid of dying, but I am afraid of being not able to see my little girl anymore. I'm trying to maintain the faith that things will get better, but seems like every other day it gets crazier and crazier. And it keeps my brain racing all the time. So, and it goes on. So what's happening is that people are losing their respect, their hope, their faith in the leadership. Leader sets up the administration and the soldier executes the mission. And when you're preoccupied with just surviving, we know when we go in the war zone, there's you get maimed or you get killed. That's the reality. And they don't mind exercising their selfless service. But when people put you in harm's way for self-gratification and self-glorification, then it becomes a challenge. And I've been in the war zone with this individual, and he's a soldier. And for him to text me this last night, that he's afraid, because most of the time in leadership, we know that our leader's going to take care of us. Mm-hmm. Now they don't have that
at all
anymore. Yeah.
At all. It's tomorrow night in the class, extra credit. We're online with some people inside of Iran. Mm-hmm. Our teacher, our instructor, is a friend, right? And this is going to be very interesting to have this conversation. That they're inside of Iran, right? Respect is huge, right? That's the reason, as was expressed today, respect me. Respect starts with yourself. You respect yourself. You set boundaries for yourself, learning those things. And then respect you, See, I can respect you better because I respect myself. And then if we both can mutually agree, we respect each other. We respect we. Mm-hmm. I don't think that, today, in the society that we're living in currently, I don't think the onus just falls upon the leadership that we're seeing. It's on us too. I heard the young lady from She's a writer and an editor for, I want to say, what was the name of that paper? The New York Times.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, in looking at everything that is happening with the leadership, what does that say about us, the people?
Who put them in leadership?
Yeah. She said, what does that say about us? Right? And it's a really great question to ask, right, when you really look at it. So when you talk about peer respect, or respect of your peers, or respect of your colleagues, or respect of your employees, or respect of your grandparents, or respect, right? When you talk about these different respect types, right, it really comes, man, if you ever get a chance, I don't know how it is for you, but when I go into a grocery store, it's different. I tell this story, and this is energy.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, I'm going to get some makeup food, lamb chops, right?
I got you, baby.
Right.
I didn't mean to do it. No.
Right. So, and I'm going to get these lamb. So I go into this meat market for the first time, and I'm talking about the line is literally to that fence and that way and around.
Oh, wow.
So when I come in, right away, it's like all eyes. People was looking at me, And so the guy comes, say, you. And there's a lady in front of me. She said, me. He said, no, you. Come on. And he take me all the way up front. He said, I don't know who you are. You must be important. Next time you come here, come look me up and talk to me. I need to talk to you.
Well,
Blessing.
covenant of God.
So I check out. I'm blown right away. I'm like, wow. But it's the respect that I have for people. I you know what I mean? It's like I really have respect for all people. And so that has been a blessing to my life. I am not, I'm not Calvin Mann without all these stories. All ingredients count, which was the message I gave the kids today. I am not Calvin Mann without all these different stories, all these different times. And I got a number of stories and times and things, right?
Here's a question. I'm sorry. I see you about to go.
Yeah.
Here's a question for each one of you. How is respect executed for you? Like, what are like 3 ways that, and let's try to come up with different ways, 'cause I think we need to do more around sharing examples of what respect looks like. If you can think about in your journey, like 3, maybe it's a situation that allowed some healing to take place because respect was demonstrated on one side, even if it wasn't on the other. Like, what are some of the examples or the ways that you have executed respect in spite of what might have been returned to you?
Well, I'll use it based on these 3 principles here out of Scripture. I'm quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. I'm quick to listen because I want to understand who's delivering their story to me. I believe that every person you encounter has a story. And if I recognize that your story has value, then I can begin to understand you. And when you're quick to listen, you begin to comprehend. You get to know the person, understand the person, give value to the person, versus I'm ready to talk or talk over you. And in the process, I miss your story. And then if I'm really caught up in myself and I get annoyed, irritated, or angry because I want to tell my story, then I'm missing the picture of what you're trying to project to me. I believe that every human being I encounter, I try to give them value. I always tell people all the time, a hello. See, I've dealt with enough suicides in my lifetime that I can't put a number to it. First one was at 19. And this was a brother that took his life. And so when I sit down and think about a person's journey, you know, we sometimes make quick judgments on people, but until you know their story, you have no clue. And even then, you're only going to get the trailer to the movie because you won't be able to know the fullness of them. So those are the ways that I try to respect people. I'm quick to listen. I'm slow to speak, slow to anger. And if I do get angry, you bet your bottom dollar I'm still going to come back and try to be quick to listen and slow to speak. Because I don't like being reactive. I like being proactive. So in any given situation, Les Brown said this. He said, it's better be prepared for a situation than not have one, have a situation and not be prepared. I do not like being not prepared. So therefore, I try to prep myself in advance. So when the situation presents itself, I'm better suited to have a high probability of success than not. So
That's awesome. Calvin, how about you?
I kind of take it a different route, and the fact that the thing that's important to me is what I can offer you. See, I respect myself enough to offer you, extend the olive branch to you, right? Which is why, you know, even as a young man, as a young boy, I thought I could solve people's issues just as a young boy. I had a lot of generations of knowledge is in my bloodstream. So I always say the one thing I can offer a person is loyalty. I will respect your story, respect who you are enough to offer you this loyalty. Because I know in offering you this loyalty, I can get to know you and maybe I can learn from you.
that's right.
See, I rather go that way and learn from you than to go the opposite way. And that's why respect is such a huge thing. I don't get a lot of disrespect, and people that do disrespect me, right? I have no attachment to it because like I can see you, like I can see that paint on the wall. So my discernment already knows the type of person that I'm dealing with. So I never allow that to be the thing that triggers me. Like you said, Dave, I don't want to allow that to be the thing that triggers me, because if I feel disrespect, it's going to trigger me. I go to, talking and saying things. And then I can fly off the handle and be emotional unnecessary. Or should I say unnecessarily? But the thing that about respect that's so important to me is because once I extend this olive branch and give you something you never had, I get a story that you never wanted to share, but with somebody you would trust with that. And so that's what I can give you, right? And that in return garners the respect. Reason why I don't use the N-word. I don't call you that. People, they get real comfortable with calling you that. I don't call you that because I got a little more respect for you. And so that's really a thing for me.
And that's essential, that loyalty. Because in a world today where people are fickle, you don't see that often. And it takes a lot, I call that self-control. It takes a lot to be loyal to people who may not be loyal to you. But that shows I like to call it fluid integrity, that you're flexible enough and you're fluent enough to move and groove in the situation, but you stand firm enough not to compromise yourself. So, and I concur, you are a loyal individual.
Thank you, Brother Dave.
That's awesome. I think about opportunities for respect. So I think about even just a simple hello, a greeting, acknowledging someone, to me, is a form of respect.
Yes.
There are people who get walked by every day.
Children.
children and adults.
They won't even talk to children.
Children and adults, and you see it all the time, and if I make eye contact with you, I'm for certain going to say something to acknowledge you.
Right.
But even if I don't and I'm walking by you, I'm going to say hello. I'm going to say hi, because I believe that the basic human need is to belong. The basic human understanding is a greeting, a warm greeting from another person. And I think it shows your intention up front.
A hello can change your life.
It can change. Yeah. It can change your life for sure.
A hello can change your life. And I'll say this to add to you and Dave's point about that. That's why when I go in the grocery store or wherever I'm at, right, I'm in conversation with the people. I don't like going to the machines. I really don't. I like going to the cash register and cracking jokes with the people. Like
building a relationship, a rapport.
Right? And because they may not come across a person like you in today's society. So I'd rather give you that. You know what I mean? I'd rather give you, here, let me give you just a little piece of something to smile about, you know? And I'm very assertive about it. And it pays off.
We do.
It pays off. So a hello can really change your life.
Yeah, I'll be real brief. And as I started with that, it's because you don't know the path of a person is taking that day. That may be the last moment. And because you acknowledge them, you say you have worth. And I remember very vividly last year, I was going into Burlington and I spoke to a lady. And she spoke back and she said, not many people communicate or blah, blah, blah. And the next thing you know, she said, she was telling me her story. And then I said, you want me to pray for you? She looked at me and said, you know how to pray? I said, is there a God? She said, yeah. And I said, well, let's get it on. We were right there at the door of the entry and I was praying with her. That turned her direction around.
Yeah.
See, we don't know the story. That's why I say the story is so significant behind people's lives. We think that everybody's just jerks and goofballs, right? But at the end of the day, if you knew their story, you know how they got there. We're not a product of just our now. We're a product of our yesterday that's affected our now and could impel our future.
Yes.
And that is one of the things that Beverly Green stressed today at Respect Day. You don't know the other person's story. You don't know. And they don't know yours. She said that both ways. You don't know their story and they don't know yours. So showing appreciation, value, respect, kindness to another person, you don't know what the real effect of that could be for what they do next, what they choose next. It's funny. So I was talking about watching Saturday Night Live. It was a episode of Saturday Night Live, and it was a situation where a guy, I guess he had gone to high school with this particular guy, and they had some bullying situations and stuff like that. But they're adults now, and the guy is the guy that he went to him. He was like, you know what? I was a real jerk in high school. I just want to apologize for how I treated you. And, and he's like, really? He was like, oh, no problem. It was no big deal. And then when they show flashback to the guy, like he goes back to his space and you see on the list, he had a list of people on the wall from high school that he was going to take out that day. And he was like one of the next people on the list.
Oh, see?
And he was like, you see him crossing him off the list.
He got spared.
Right. I mean, but you never know where a person is. And in this time that we're in and this season we're in, and people are under such duress, kindness and respect can be an answer. It can answer the negative call. It can answer the negative energy. It can often, offset a person. Maybe it was just what they needed that day, to be cared about, to be appreciated, to just show me some respect, some, acknowledge me.
in a positive way, so that, and then being able to not take offense so quickly. I think respect swings back to where maybe somebody approached you in a way that was disrespectful. It doesn't mean that you have to receive that.
The problem is you took respect out of the house when we decided to move the father out of the house, because the father is the teacher of discipline and respect, because our love language is respect. And so many people, as I was explaining to a sister the other day, you got to understand the fact that you're raising this boy and he's not getting any kind of male interaction, you're cheating him. I say it's like this. We go out to the bar. We got a bottle of wine on the table. Everybody got a glass. You pour yours to the top, you put a sip in mine. That's what it's like raising a boy. He's not getting his full glass. It's the same thing for the daughter. Because you remove the father, you immediately, and this is a lot of these fathers too, you immediately settle. One of the greatest things that happened last week, and I really feel good about this, was one of my son's friends was dealing with a situation. And we helped him stay in his home. Mm-hmm. Now, it wasn't that I was on the phone. It was just another little message for you to pay attention. Mm-hmm. I had already talked to you on the phone. Mm-hmm. But here's another little message, right? This was just free. Mm-hmm. If we don't understand that the respect, reaction, redirection, right? If we don't understand the of things in this dynamic, this is what happens to males. Why is he so reactive? Mm-hmm. Because he's only been fed a ton of emotion. And then if you throw technology on top of that emotion, right, he's radioactive, right? Mm. But when you have balance, father, this is the thing that really turned me off about, the whole, I'm a player. You're not really no player. You're not. And a lot of people swear up and down that they, this is who I am. You're not. My Uncle Junior was a pimp. My Uncle Junior told me, he said, unless you can walk in that room and catch her and not show no emotion, you're not no player. Mm-hmm. At all. You don't have, because emotionally, you're going to have a response. But as a player, as a person, he was a pimp, right? Mm-hmm. You got to remove that emotion. Mm-hmm. Well, and having a father mm-hmm. in the house, it can help you tailor your emotions properly. Mm-hmm. So we have so many children in relationships unbalanced. Mm-hmm. A man is very, very valuable, regardless to how you see it. But a healthy man has to be raised. This is the last thing. I saw a message about what's wrong with the man or whatever. I said 80% of the boys are in the hands of women. Mm-hmm. 80% of the children are in the hands of women. So let's see who's benefited from that. Mm-hmm. You ready? The court, the prison, the juvenile, the drugs, the ODs, suicide, the domestic violence, rapes, murder. Mm-hmm. The system has totally benefited from the unbalance of us as human beings. So if we can just understand that respect plays a key part in making that happen, I'm not I'm going to say this. I'm not saying that it's easy, mm-hmm. but everything that's quality takes work.
Yes, yeah.
And with that being said, Miles said we had to get out because the feds keep driving by.
Well, all right.
Right.
You got to go, Cal. It's time. Mm-hmm. It's time. But no, Dave, tell them where they can reach you.
You can reach me at FMAM 4 Men About Men on Facebook, or you can reach me at drome7@yahoo.com. Dr. Heather?
You can reach me at yourinspiredjourney.com, or you can reach me by phone at 759-7855.
You can reach me at calvintman.com. You can book me. We're going national. Don't forget to tap into the 1 Million Reasons Boys Matter campaign. You can donate. You can share the resource with people who can possibly help. We're going to continue to do this. It's coming. Believe me, it's happening. But I'll say this about respect. RESPECT. That's it. Aretha was right. Just a little bit.
Yes,
I mean, just a little. Just a little girl was singing today. When she said just a little bit, I was like, just a little bit. Right? It's just a little bit. It's not.
Okay.
Just give me a little bit of that respect, instead of all the other things. And so, shout out to those of you who understand and value what we talked about here today. We love you. We appreciate you. Shout out to your families. Make sure that you love your families and share as much good quality information with your families and love on your families as much as possible. My name is Dr. Calvin T. Mann. You can reach me at calvintman.com. God bless you and encourage me. I'm young.
It was all about the kid.